Yes, people, welcome back to the channel with the Oniaya. We're talking about Napoli's inquiry for Rasmus Højlund. Now, we have seen Lukaku picked up an injury over the last 48 hours, to say, and Napoli has came in for Rasmus Højlund as a replacement. Now, I think this is a really good move for Rasmus, as one, he's played in Italy before. Two, Italy is a really good league to develop as a young striker, and it might also benefit Manchester United for sending him out not only on loan but having somewhat of a sell-on clause that they can benefit from this guy becoming a star. Now, a lot of United fans talk about Rasmus Højlund in a way which I don't respect, because sometimes I think these guys forget that Højlund, Kobe Mainoo, Euro, Heaven, Garnacho are they're just 20-year-olds. You know, these are kids. A lot of these people who talk about these guys, when they were 17, when they were 18, they were getting ready to go out to the pub with their friends and party. They weren't doing anything as constructive as these kids. While these kids every day are waking up, playing at one of the biggest football teams in the world, sacrificing their youth from having so much fun to doing this. Now think about it. As a kid, your whole life, right? You're playing football fair, and all of us want to be professional footballers. But do you want to wake up every day doing the same thing, and then the last only for 2 weeks out of the year or a month out of the year, you're guaranteed that you actually have a little bit of life to yourself? Think about it. Some of y'all go and have a beer with your friends. Some of y'all go do all kind of crazy shit with your friends. And y'all get to live a normal life. Yet, we criticize these young footballers about all kind of different things, not realizing that they need to develop into football, into men, in their structure, in the way they are. Not everyone is a freak like a Hojlund or Yamal or Kylian Mbappe. Look at Dembele. Dembele was a freak, went to Barcelona for so much money, and then he didn't even live up to the hype. Was injured all the time. Same thing with João Felix. You know, we can name so many players that have had hype and haven't lived up to the hype because of the pressure that we put on these players. So Rasmus Højlund moving to United as a 20-year-old to be the backup to an Anthony Martial, which he should have been. But in real actuality, Ten Hag wanted to bring in a Harry Kane. Imagine Rasmus Højlund being a number 2 to a Harry Kane at a Manchester United. It would have been so much better for his development. Learning how to run into space, learning how to come to the ball, learning when to have bursts to the front post, learning when to link up play inside of the box, learning when to run the channels. There's so many things Harry Kane, learning when to come get the ball and spray it and change the play, how to release the pressure, how to draw pressure to yourself and attention. There's so many different things that Harry Kane could have taught Rasmus Højlund as a senior striker. But he didn't have the chance to learn from anyone. So you're asking a kid who has little to no experience, right, to come be the number 9 for the best team in England, basically. Not the best team in terms of the football they play, but it's the biggest club in England. Arguably the biggest club in Europe. And being the number 9 at Manchester United. Going after players like a Robin van Persie, a Ruud van Nistelrooy, even if he didn't wear number 9, but he played there. A Zlatan, a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a Andy Cole, a Dwight York, a Wayne Rooney. Then you ask a 20-year-old Rasmus Højlund to come do what they do. It's delusion. You're asking, you know, that's like asking somebody, right, to literally drain water from a dry coconut, bro. You can't do it. When a coconut dried up, it's dried. You have to put that shit, it's husk. You gotta put that shit to create fires or put it in your plants. You can't bring back the coconut water. That is what we're literally asking this youth to do. Just you find water in this dry coconut island. How is he supposed to score goals with not even understanding his position properly in a team that doesn't play properly? You know, you have people like Garnacho and them who have more shots than Højlund per game. And I'm not saying that as a striker you shouldn't also create your own chances. But Højlund isn't that sort of striker. Šeško isn't that sort of striker. Benjamin Šeško isn't going to create his own chances. Probably by runs, probably by his movement, he might create chances. But in terms of him creating his own chances, he's not that player. So let us not ask Højlund to be that player either. Now, Højlund, within his time at Manchester United, let's just have a little bit, show you a little bit of statistics on what happened. So, 95 matches played across all competitions, 26 goals and 6 assists. Within the Premier League, he had 10 goals and 2 assists his first season. Not bad as a return. And then in his second season, he had 4 goals and 0 assists. So in the Premier League, he's had a total of 62 appearances with 14 goals and 2 assists. Now, as Manchester United striker, this is not good enough. You can't be averaging 7 goals a season as Manchester United striker. But for a 20-year-old in a very hard league with no experience, those aren't bad numbers. In actuality, it's actually not bad numbers. Now, Šeško and Højlund are around the same age, but Šeško had a time in order for him to develop in a league where he could have developed. And even then, he wasn't scoring 20 goals in the German league, in the league itself. He wasn't scoring 30 goals in the German league in the year itself. He was actually still 13, 12. So Højlund scoring 10 his first season, which would mean he was 20 years old, is not a bad look for him. It's actually, in a way, not bad numbers. Now, let's not forget also in his first season when United was in the Champions League, he was the top goal scorer up to a point until the Lewandowskis and the Kanes and the Haalands were the top goal scorer. Sorry, I'm burnt. So, we have to also realize again that this kid has potential. Now, watch him go to Napoli and score over 15 to 20 goals for the season. I cannot wait to see what Antonio Conte does with a player like Rasmus Højlund. Antonio Conte loves strikers like Rasmus Højlund. Big, like to run the channel, not so much skillful. You know, Diego Costa is a striker that isn't as skillful. But on Antonio Conte was a machine. You know, on a lot of strikers, to be fair, Diego Costa was a machine. But Rasmus Højlund needs to play like a Diego Costa. All energy, 100%, great fight, nothing but just hard work and power. You see, if he can develop that, and I like the fact that he's going to a Napoli to play under Lukaku, even after Lukaku's on injury. Lukaku's coming back. There's a lot of things about Lukaku game that Lukaku can teach Højlund. Lukaku can teach him so many things, especially them being left-footers as well. The angles, the spaces, when to come in against, say, a left-footed centre-back or right-footed centre-back. You know, all these small things that help you as a professional. These small details people take as a joke. You know, passing the ball to my left foot when the defender's on my right side. Or vice versa, passing the ball to my right foot if the defender's on my left side. These are the small intricacies in football that we don't actually hear on the TV or we don't see, that makes the game move faster, that actually separates an amateur or semi-professional to a professional. Because those are milliseconds and small things in the game that you need that allows you to... So okay, for instance, right? The ball comes to my left foot, the defender's on my left side. But I need to go to the left side in order for me to play the ball into the guy running in behind me. Okay? There's no way I can do that because he's on that left side. So you want to play the ball to my right foot so I can use my hand to spin around him or even use my left side as a pivot to go around him, take a cut inside, and then release that player. So those small things allow you as the receiving player to then make a decision based on what picture you see, based on what you scan. So there's a lot of things I think Højlund can benefit from going and play with a player like Lukaku who will teach him. Now, you know, he has his boy there as well, a Scott McTominay, who actually replace Rasmus Højlund in a Ten Hag system in a final. If you remember, Manchester United beat City in the FA Cup final with Scott McTominay playing as the number 9. So him going to Napoli now playing with Scott McTominay is also a link that they have, because they have played together for a couple, like a year. And also they have played with each other in terms of that switch. Now, so it's a link that Conte is aware about, is a link that he knows can work. And it just shows that United fans need to respect the fact that they have quality players. You know, Garnacho being linked outside the club. He's not going to a Real Sociedad or Villarreal or a Como. He's been linked to a Bayern Munich, a Chelsea. He was linked to Napoli. He was linked to Inter. And same with Rasmus Højlund. The clubs that came in for Højlund were all Italian clubs. Inter Milan, AC Milan, Napoli. So it shows you that these guys are high quality and they actually sorted off in terms of the football world. It's only the United fans talk about them like they are absolute garbage. But then that's why when these players leave the club, they go to other teams and they're stars. Now, Rasmus Højlund was not given a fair chance at Manchester United. We have to be very clear about that. He was given game time, but a fair chance to show how good he was as a footballer. It's not true. It's not real. You can't put a 20-year-old, give him one of the biggest number 9 numbers in the world, right? And then expect him to fill those boots without having any experience. It's delusion both on the club's part, Ten Hag's part, even if Ten Hag didn't want him at all, or even if he did, he wanted him to play under a hurricane. And also, it just put the kid in a very bad spot, where now he has to now dig himself out of position where his parent club doesn't want him, the fans of the club doesn't want him, and now he's saying, based on the contract that he has, that he wants at Napoli, if I come here on loan, I want you to want me as a player. I want an obligation to be bought. Not me just coming on loan, still having to prove myself. So you can tell this kid is in a bad place in terms of mentally, you know. It's not a good place for him right now at Manchester, which is why I think he should leave, you know. Go breathe some fresh air, Rasmus. Go play for a club now where you can go score and even win the Italian league. You know, you're actually leaving a team that came 50th in England and going to the Italian Giants, going to play Champions League football, and also you're going to go play with the team that won the Italian Serie A last season, the current champions. And people actually think they'll win it again. So yes, people, thank you so much for looking in and coming in and talking and everything and commenting. It's been your boy Yahya. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep hitting the bell for notifications so we can continuously keep bringing you great content going forward. Have a good time. Take care. And always remember, my people, we stay sexy.